Hi, my name is Nikki, and this is Excelsius Project. For those of you who don't know me, this channel is all about healing, growing, thinking, contemplation, self-exploration, self-discovery, facing obstacles, facing triggers, figuring out a way forward, art, poetry, thoughts, opinions. Basically, it's all about sharing the life lessons that we learn along the way and figuring out how to cope with the gray areas in life. If that seems like your cup of tea, then welcome. And for those of you who follow me, I really want to say thank you. It really means a lot to me that there's somebody out there that watches my content, that feels enough in resonance to actually hit like or to hit subscribe or to leave a comment and engage with me. And it's such a nice feeling, and I just wanted to say thank you so much. If my content does resonate with you and it helps you in some way, that's the whole reason I do this. And if you hit like and subscribe, it would mean a lot to me as well. And if it doesn't resonate, then that's okay too. Take what does, toss out the rest. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a professional of any kind. Everything I share are my thoughts, my opinions, my experiences, what I'm learning along the way as I'm learning. And I hope that it helps somebody out there. So last month we were talking about starting a healing journey, some of the challenges you may encounter. This month, in line with Spooky Month, we're talking about the people that we're trying to heal from. And I spoke about a couple of really scary situations that I was going through last week. And so today I thought that we would tone it down a notch and we would talk about friendship. And I don't mean genuine friendship that has come and gone out of your life or anything like that. I'm talking about frenemies this episode. So it can happen when you are a people pleaser, low self-esteem, somebody's very naive and trusting, very kind, generous. You wear your heart on your sleeve. You are who you are, without pretense, without anything, like you don't need anything in return. You just genuinely care about people. There is something about people like that, especially when you're people pleasing, especially when you have low self-esteem, that I think, because this is who I was. I was low self-esteem, people pleaser, wore my heart on my sleeve, and when I care about people, I really put my whole heart and soul into all my bonds, all my relationships, all my friendships. And I think that there's something about being that way that screams vulnerability, or that is like a big neon sign that says, I'm this type of way. And people who are predatory, they just innately, intuitively, they just know what you're about. They can read you right off the bat. They know that maybe you have a low self-esteem. They know that maybe you're a people pleaser. They know you're kind, empathetic, genuine, and you're a little bit naive. You're very trusting. They just know. Even if you're a bit guarded and it takes you time to open up, but you're that way inclined, they just know. I don't know how they know. Like I said, not a psychologist, not a therapist, but they know. They just know. And there are people out there that are really, really good at faking and putting on a mask and saying the right things and doing the right things and backing up their actions with their words with the right actions to effectively disarm you, so that they can gain your trust and find a way in and ultimately get what they want. And they look at you as though you are a commodity, as though you are expendable, disposable. You are there for them to get something in return. It's very transactional. And I don't think all people are like that. I do think it's a little bit human nature to take advantage, especially when we don't, when people don't really know boundaries, or they're comfortable. We are creatures of comfort. We like to be comfortable, and so we become accustomed to certain things, and we can be accustomed to particular behaviors or certain things in our friendships and our relationships with our parents, our family, our friends, our boyfriends and girlfriends, and all this, right? You will get accustomed to a particular way of being, or to a particular mannerisms, or whatever. And until somebody comes out and says, hey, you know what? We need to talk about this. A boundary's being crossed, or I'm not able to do this anymore. We won't really know. Or unless somebody comes out and flat out says, this is what I'm about. Not everybody does that. And so it can be easy to get comfortable and take advantage, not on purpose. It's not malicious. But then there are people out there who really don't care, and they want what they want, and they're going to get it, and they will do whatever it takes to get what they want, and they really don't care about the consequences. They can become very manipulative, they can become very critical, they'll resort to a variety of techniques to ultimately get what they want, and people like this are incredibly toxic. And so I think I'm probably talking about the more extreme end of things, but there can be people that come into your life that are somewhere on a spectrum, where maybe they're not the absolute extreme of some of the things I'm going to talk about, but they have some variant of that. And if they do, it's still not healthy. It's still toxic, and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be something that you are aware of, because it's so important that you look after yourself, and it's so important that if you're going to build genuine connection, that you find people who are in resonance with you. It's not a nice feeling to be taken advantage of, or to feel like somebody's there for you, and then when you really need them, they're not. And it's important that you sort of weed out the people who are there for you from the friggin' parasites that are just pretending to be your friend. So some of the things that you need to be aware of is yourself. You need to have a really good self-concept. You need to be working on yourself. You need to like yourself. You need to respect yourself. And that will look like different things for different people. But when you are feeling good and strong, and you're very comfortable in your skin, you like who you are, and you're working towards your goals, and you just feel good about yourself, you're going to carry yourself differently. You're going to have a different set of expectations for yourself, for others, and how they treat you. But when you don't have that foundation, it's almost like if you think of yourself like a castle from back in the day. The castle was meant to defend and protect, and it's like people who are healthy, they've got strong walls, they have a full cavalry, they have the equipment necessary to protect and defend their castle, they're well stocked, the people inside are safe and happy, and they know that they're protected, and they're able to let the drawbridge down and let people come in, and but they know that they're ready to defend themselves and look after themselves and pull the bridge up if they need to, and everybody's going to be okay, and they're well stocked up and all that. But people who have a low self-esteem, or people pleasers, or recovering from trauma, whatever, like wherever you are at, you're not well equipped, you're not well offended, you're not fully prepared. And these people who are basically parasitic, they can sense it. They know it. And they'll target you. They will try to befriend you. And they will seem very, very genuine. And they will seem very conscientious and very caring. And they'll say all the right things. And they'll do all the right things. And then the demands will come. The requests. The expectations. And then it'll be manipulations and criticism. It starts to escalate. So at first it's almost like love bombing. You will meet people who try to befriend you, who will love bomb you. It is a thing. They will do it. They will do it. They will say whatever they need to say to lower your guard, to be let in. And then they will push your boundaries just enough, not to break them, but just enough to see how far they can go. And they will continue to push those boundaries a little bit more each time. And they will see how you react. And if they realize that you actually have no feedback mechanism to stand up for yourself, they get a sense of it and they keep going with it, and they'll keep pushing and keep pushing, and they might stop at a certain point when they realize, because they're probably already getting so much out of you, that they'll just stop at some point. But in my situation, I've noticed that people like that, they just continue. They continue to push. And then they get very critical. They have big tempers. They get upset, everything's your fault, they guilt you into everything, or they cry about everything. So I wanted to talk about some of the things. You might make friends with somebody who is always the victim, there's always something about them that is deficient. It's like drama follows them, there's always a sad story, there's always something. And they're able to be your friend enough that you two enjoy each other's company and things are okay one moment, but the next moment something is off. And it may not even be in the same day. It could be like, you'll hang out a couple of times, you're having a great time, everything's good, they're fun, they're lovely, but then every other time there's something, and then the frequency can increase, and they're always looking for somebody to save them. And they create the drama themselves. They victimize themselves. And some of it is completely contrived. It's not even real. And they'll tell you stories to make you feel bad about them because they crave, it's almost like a hypochondriac. They just crave the attention. They just want you to feed into them. And to feed into this strange deluded fantasy. They like the attention, they like that you dote on them, and if you're somebody who is generous or you're going out of your way for them, they benefit. And if you try to pull away from them, they're going to get very upset, or they'll make it into they're such a victim and how could you do this, and they'll guilt trip you and all this stuff. Somebody who's your friend, somebody who really cares about you and you really care about them, they could become like family. You could have friends that you are closer to than your own family. That's how bonded you can be to somebody. And somebody who is genuinely, truly your friend, they care about you, they raise you up, they're not scared to tell you the truth. They will tell you the truths that other people maybe will not tell you. And I actually had a discussion with somebody the other day. Somebody made a comment and they were basically saying, well, who wants to hear the truth? And why would anybody, I don't remember exactly what they said, but something along those lines, why would you want to hear the truth? And somebody's your friend, they're not going to just be so blunt and so hurtful. Obviously, somebody who cares about you will have some sort of finesse about approaching sensitive topics, but they will nonetheless, knowing that it may hurt you, knowing that it may hurt your friendship, because they care about you, they will tell you certain truths. They will broach the subject with you. They won't shy away from it because they care about you. They want what's best for you. They're there for you in the hard times. They're there for you In the quiet times, they're there for you when your soul is screaming and you need to cry, and you don't need to be told how to fix it. You don't need advice. You just need somebody to sit with you. Good friends will do that. Good friends will see your pain and they will show up. But people who are not your friend, they will pretend to do some of these things, and then it's always one-sided. It's always one-sided. And that's one of the ways that you can kind of figure things out. And if you're somebody who doesn't understand or doesn't know how to check or whatever, try asking a friend to be there for you when you really need them and see if they are. You could try to do that to check. Because somebody's just taking and taking and taking. Magically, they're going to disappear when you really need them. At the beginning, maybe not, because they're trying to lower your defenses. They're trying to get a read on you. They're trying to see how far they can push and what you're really like. And they'll pretend. But as things progress, you're going to notice that the friendship becomes very one-sided. Then you can also make friends with people who are incredibly hateful and jealous and conniving. You represent something that they want, that they like, that they aspire to. You represent something that they've always wanted, or a version of themselves that they've always wanted to be. There's something about you that they love to hate. And you essentially end up becoming a mirror for a friend like that. They admire you for something, or they look at something that you have that they want, and they absolutely detest you for everything that you are, that you represent, that they cannot have, that they will never be. Again, not a psychologist, not a therapist to be able to speak to this, but I've experienced people who have pretended to be my friend, who hated me, who did not like me, who were very jealous. And you'll notice it for the looks that they give. There will be a twinge of disgust, and it's so momentary. And if you're not really paying attention, you won't really see it. Like, you have to pay attention. But you'll feel it. You'll feel it. Your gut will tell you, I feel off. Like, if your gut is telling you something, you need to listen. Because your gut is right more often than not. And when it comes to people who have masks on, sometimes the only thing you have that will tell you is your gut. If you feel like something is off, listen to it. But you'll have these people who are very jealous about you, and it'll come out in their face. It'll come out a little bit in their mannerisms. When you're in a group, it'll always be about them, or they'll find a way to interject into the conversation. And especially in a dynamic, if you're young and there's somebody who's older, and you both like this person or respect this person, the person will vie for their attention. They will want to be the favorite. And it's almost like your siblings. There's a little bit of this weird sibling rivalry with people who are jealous or possessive. Another way that jealousy will sort of rear its ugly head in that kind of friendship is, like, you might notice that if you have something, have a relationship, have a home, there's something that you have, they'll make weird comments about it. Or maybe they'll choose not to visit you because you know how it makes them feel. Like, they'll say something strange to that effect, that you're being insensitive, or just be sensitive of them because they're going through something and so they cannot partake or visit or whatever. There will be some type of weird comment, and they might expect you to always go to them or visit with them or hang out with them in a particular group, but like, they'll never come to you, or like, there's going to be weird little things like that you need to pay attention to. But it'll definitely be the looks that they give with their faces. It will be It will be strange little comments. It will be vying for attention, trying to make them look better. It's all about them. Like, you'll notice weird little things like that. And then you might have friends who are basically energy vampires. Like, they're little leeches that just like latch on, and they're very possessive of you. Like, you need to be available at their beck and call whenever they need you. And if you go through something and you disappear, like, it's the worst thing that could ever happen in the world. And or like, if you guys have a little rift, they'll all of a sudden go and befriend people that they said that they didn't like, just to make you jealous. Like, they'll act like, almost like a bad boyfriend or a bad girlfriend, but it's not romantic. It is a friendship, but there's a weird possessiveness that happens with these people because they are obsessed with control. Only they have access to you. You need to be available when they need. You need to be there when they're crying. You need to drive them around. You need to be there for them when they need, how they need, when they need. Like, it's like this weird thing. And God forbid you go through something, or you disappear, or you don't go running to them. They're not the first person you tell. They have this strange possessiveness about them that just doesn't make any sense. And then you have people as well. There's another kind. They are the people that they're not really your friend. They pretend to be your friend because they like to gather information about you. And they're either going to use it to hurt you or to benefit them. And that can mean two different things. They either have it in their head that they don't like you and they want you to suffer, and they're going to learn everything they can about you to destroy you, or they're going to learn everything they can about you, file it away for later, and if there's an opportunity that will help benefit them, then they will use it to benefit them. All these different kinds of people, and there's so many other different kinds, but these are the four main ones that I've encountered personally. And you might meet people who want to be your friend, not because they really want to be your friend, but because they have an alternate agenda and they really do not care about you at all. At all. They're just hoping for an opportunity, and they don't even see you as a human being. They just don't even see you as a human being. They just see you as a thing to be conquered, a thing to own, a thing to get something from. And it is unfortunate that there are people out there like this. But there are. And they will pretend. And they will wear masks. And they are very much like the narcissist who pretends to be something else, who infiltrates your life. And I think sometimes with friends, it's more detrimental than a relationship because, sometimes we go to our friends with some of the most important things in our lives, the happiest moments, the saddest moments. We go to our friends for advice. We spend time with them. Friends can be so important. They can have such a huge role in our lives. But people like this who masquerade as friends and they're really not, they can be so incredibly detrimental to your mental and emotional well-being. And there can be significant financial impacts, especially if you're somebody who is overly generous or who doesn't know how to say no. These people will take full advantage of that, and it'll hurt your wallet too. So please be very, very careful if your relationship is very one-sided. And if you're not sure, give it a test. Give it a test. Next time you're going through something, you don't have to open up about all of it. Next time you're going through something, you need your friend to be there. See if they'll be there. And if they're not, seriously consider whether or not they're worth being in your life. And how you heal from this. So I think that in order to heal from experiencing these types of friendships or relationships, or whatever you want to call them, really, they're parasites. That's what they are. They're parasites. You really need to look at yourself. You need to self-assess, and you need to do some work on the inside so you can start feeling good about who you are. It's not about building big walls and shutting everybody out. It's not about being distrustful of people, because there's really, really wonderful people out there. Really wonderful people. And I know social media is rife with all types of narratives and all types of things, and some of the things are very legitimate things. These things exist, but life is what you make of it at the end of the day. And if you're working on yourself and you're looking after yourself and you've got healthy boundaries, it's really up to you to try to go and make the best of it. And yeah, life is going to throw a monkey wrench in your way once in a while. There's going to be mountains to climb. There's going to be obstacles. You're going to slip and fall a few times. There are going to be things that hurt you so tremendously that maybe you never heal from them, or you heal differently. And that's not true for everybody. Some people will experience some things. They will get over the obstacles, and they'll have a lovely life. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to go and make your luck, and it's up to you to go and have a better life. And you need to realize that. So if you can work on yourself, watch how you speak to yourself, keep your commitments to yourself, honor yourself, be gentle with yourself, work on yourself. That's 90% of the effort. That's 90% of the work. And then the rest comes with a little bit of trust, a lot of hope, and a little bit of risk. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about for this episode. Next week we're talking toxic relationships, and I haven't decided if it's going to be one episode or if it's going to be a few segments, but that's what we're about next week. If you found any of this helpful or interesting, please like, subscribe. If you want to start a conversation about this, please do so in the comments. I read all of them, and we could have a chat about it. And until next time.